by, alone inside. He's got the breakaway with the touch to the right. Goal! Everything you wanted from this debut. It's Brandon by. Taking a shot with the left. Goal! Isaac Friend from 25 yards out. The equalizer. Will Kidd with the touch of the goal. It's a go-ahead goal. Minneapolis City.
This is the People's Pitch Podcast, the official podcast of your Minneapolis City Soccer Club. Brought to you by Summit Brewing Company.
This is not a drill, folks. We report that Minneapolis City Soccer Club has postponed no soccer because of positive COVID tests. What is up, my soccer friends? This is the People's Pitch Podcast, the official podcast of your Minneapolis City Soccer Club. I'm your host, John, and alongside me today is the Nate Morales. Nate, how you doing, man? And what the heck is going on with our cousins across town? Have they been licking the same doorknob or something? I mean, the second game in a row postponed tonight due to the Rona, running roughshod through their club. What's the deal?
That was some surprising news given how good that most teams have been, especially in the MLS.
The chips are starting to fall now across all sports.
Also reminds me that I totally forgot to set my fantasy MLS lineup for the week. It's already Wednesday night, and that sucks. So, oh well.
How's that going? Who's leading?
I don't know. I think it's like one of those things that like I signed up. They played 2 games, everything got suspended, and I kind of stopped caring until now. It's just something to do.
So you got the random email back, and then you also realize you have a child now. So fantasy things move aside for reality things.
Not important. Definitely not important. Not at all important.
Well, I mean,
I can't believe it. Like another more positive tests in the MLS, more positive tests in the NFL. I think the NBA made it out pretty scot-free.
Well, so did MLS out of the bubble. You know, they were the first professional sports team to start something. Yep. And I mean, the NBA, what did they do that like 2-3 week quarantine in the bubble before they started, where MLS kind of got going right about a week later. And that kind of brought the Rona in. But yeah, I was really surprised to hear that Minnesota has kind of been the team after the bubble that it hit the hardest. It sounds like, Dallas and Nashville, they pulled the no card and got kicked out of the tournament before it even started for them. But afterwards, this could be some of the reason why maybe we hadn't heard much about Ike Opara. We talked about that, but it's all speculation to say that. But I mean, who knows if it's as serious as it is now? Maybe it was serious back then, and there could have been some long-term effects with him. But who knows?
Yeah, definitely. So we've got kind of a long show tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Not talking at all about COVID.
Been a while.
Yeah, we've had a lot happened this week. Obviously, the Ben Wexler Brotherhood Cup wrapped, so we will have the championship week recap. We've got some awards, the People's Pitch official, unofficial awards for the players from the Ben Wexler Brotherhood Cup. Of course, then we have to roll into the Pick'em winners and the prizes thereof. And we've got a guest on tonight. First time we've ever had this guy on. Mike Hutton, the finals MVP, is making an appearance on the podcast.
Yes.
So let's get rolling, John. It only seems like yesterday we had Coach Jeremiah on, and he was introducing the future models, and we were getting really excited. And then you guys rolled out you announced that it was going to be kind of we're going to kind of roll that out as like a test during the pandemic with the first and second teams up in Blaine, and that is how the 7v7 league was born. And now that we've reached the end of the road, boys to men style, for the Ben Wexler Brotherhood Cup, and it's been a busy 7 weeks, man. Lots of ups and downs, lots of really high octane competition up there. Killer upset, some really interesting young players we've got to have a look at. Nice to see some trialists in the mix. We had fans that were able to come see some games. We had it all, but all good things come to an end, John. And so here it is. This awesome experience that we were able to create for our guys is over. I was not able to make it last Wednesday. Super bummed. Ended up at home with the baby watching the vice presidential debate, which was less cool. Tell us how last Wednesday went.
Well, first off, thanks for getting that song caught in my head.
Under the Road,
Oh,
Boyz
yeah,
II Men.
yeah. What a fantastic ballad that was.
Just a sweet slow jam.
Oh my God, so many middle school dances where that was the featured song. Yes, Nate. So sadly, as you mentioned, the fall experiment is over. Before we dive into things, I want to give a few shout outs. Like to give the shout outs. So first off, want to say thank you to the players for taking the last 8 weeks very seriously, and as serious as they possibly could, not getting the Rona. It's really hard to tell a group of guys that are kind of so wide in age ranges from each other, 17 to like 30, 32, to stay home and not ruin it for the rest of us. But they all dug in for those 8 weeks and stayed healthy and safe. So without that, this really would not have been successfully pulled off. So thank you so much to the players, to the staff, the coaches, also a big thank you for taking the time out of, what we typically have as our dark period right now. Maybe an Open Cup game where there's less of a staff needed, but when you have 60 some guys out, you need to have a full staff out there. And a lot of the coaches have, high school or club obligations that they don't get to in the summer because they're with us, that they do now. So without the preparedness of the coaches and the diligence to also follow safety protocols, another factor in us being able to totally pull this off. Dan and Sarah, from the front office perspective, figuring out and managing, bringing the fans in, and giving folks a chance to actually come and watch soccer in a safe atmosphere, I think was totally clutch. And finally, to the fans who did come, it was so awesome to include you in the time that we had this fall together. And really, unless you live in Florida, California, or Texas, where like sporting event rules seem to be like totally shut off, and there's like 90,000 people going to college football games, having live soccer to give to you, I think, was so awesome. And thank you so much for also doing your part. So a couple little shout outs we'd like to give there.
Yeah. I mean, so far everyone did a great job. And so far 0 positive cases have been tied to our events. So that means we've got a leg up on most sporting events, on weddings, on garden parties, on all propaganda opportunities. We rule.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if the leader of the free world can get it, and we, with all the safety protocols in place that should be followed, hey, I mean, look at us, our little slice of the soccer pie, just doing our thing.
We got to do something. We got to be doing something right.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we have a lot of crazy ideas, but we tend to do things right. So anyways, on to the action, the consolation game. So in this game, Nate, it was the first game of the night. We did was a back-to-back game instead of a coinciding game, so that people could come and the players could come and watch at least part of the first game before they warmed up. So it was really great to have that. So we had the consolation game that was the first game of the night, and we saw a really great match and what could have easily been a toss-away game, with the Bob Dillionaires and the 99ers thinking, we're not in the championship and kind of phoning it in. But they definitely went out there with something to prove. And these two teams we thought had the horses to run to the title race, but they both fell short. But they really put the work in on the final night. And we saw, we basically saw that there's something interesting that happened. And that was the fact that apparently to these guys, playing for who doesn't finish last is almost equally as important as winning the whole thing.
Yeah. Okay.
So that definitely amped up the sense of urgency for the guys on the night. But I briefly alluded to it. Great soccer match. Both teams putting it all out there for the fans in the final show. The only thing to note before this game was that 99ers shot stopper Troy Lewicki was unable to make the match due to some grad school conflict, which meant that Devin Thompson and Matt Elder, who were set to feature against each other in the finals, stepped up and split time each a half for the 99ers. So thank you to them for clearly doing that, because without that, we wouldn't have had a full match played. We would have had to figure something out and Chairman Hudeman, I think, has officially retired from filling in. So so it was good to have those guys set up. So actually, as far as the match is concerned, it was almost too fast to give you a full breakdown. It was a 5 versus 5 goal fest that ended in another penalty shootout, with the Bob Billionaires finishing as the second runner-up in the competition, using a Miss America scoring system there. On penalties, where Mitch Wolf stepped out of the net for the Billionaires and nailed the 5th kick to win the game.
Wow.
So
that's exciting.
Yeah,
you don't see that.
You don't see that. It was definitely a night of a couple firsts, that being one of them, and we'll get to the next one when we talk about the next game. But one bright spot of note was that former Minnesota United DA player Baraka, who was kind of in and out with us during the course of the competition.
Baraka from Mortal Kombat?
Yeah, Baraka from Mortal Kombat. The tender age of 17, he suited up for the 99ers and contributed 2 goals and 2 assists, and definitely his best match since he kind of latched on to us after the DA shutdown.
True to Baraka form, just slicing them up.
Yep, exactly. So along with some chip-ins from some club staples, Zuhair Midu and Gato, which I was told is not El Gato, it's just Gato. So it's not the cat, it's just cat.
It's just cat.
For the Billionaires, it was very much so the Nick Hutton show. 2 goals and 2 assists of his own, followed by a big goal when it comes to the Golden Boot race from Justin Oliver. Defender Wes Lawrence chipped one in, and then so did club captain Max Stewart. So what a fitting way to go down in the consolation match, 5-5 into penalties for our 3rd straight playoff game in a row, Nate.
Yeah, but still, I mean, at least it was on the heels of 10 goals, right? Like you said, total goal fest, super exciting. Like, that's the kind of game you want to go to penalties. You don't want something low scoring, right, going to penalties and deciding on some fluke. It's like everyone had every opportunity to win this game, and it's just super awesome that it got extended and there was some extra drama, and especially since it took place before the championship game. So basically the other teams are ready to rock, man. They're lined up. Everyone's attention is fully on the penalty shootout. How cool is that?
Yeah, absolutely. And there was plenty of chirping going on with the guys who made it to the final, to the guys who did not make the final, which was awesome to hear. Some pretty good zingers in there, I might add. But also some gentlemanly wagers going on the sidelines for who was going to win these matches. So some great side effects from that game and it being first before the final. So on to the final, Nate. It was the second straight game of the playoffs that was, I believe, just shot out of a cannon. As Tackled by Turtles looked totally turtle versus the One-Timers and gave up 2 early goals for another kind of not this shit again feeling from those in attendance. Like, come on, guys, you pulled it together, got into the final, and then now this again. But they were able to get back on the good foot, which I think was a testament of just their resilience of continuing to get after chopping the tree down after they just were getting their asses kicked. But they were able to equalize. And it was right before halftime had expired, the first half had expired, excuse me, on the back of goals from Mark Bokine and Miles Norville, which were both set up by a very energized Ian Smith. He was all over the place. He didn't get the MVP of the finals, obviously, because we know that is going to our guest tonight in Mike Hutton. But I mean, he did everything humanly possible he could do to try to bring his team into this one. But first half high.
It's funny how we've been able to see Steve a couple times get angry and turn it on and just like put the game on his back.
Yeah, 100%. And the leadership role that he took, like he was our first development player, if you want to put that title on him, in our first year. And we've seen him grow throughout his soccer journey with us, going to college, coming back to us, going to a USL side for a year, then coming back to us now, during COVID when he was realistically supposed to be off in different parts of the globe, trialing for pro clubs. So you never saw that leadership role from him. He was very much an impactful role player on all the teams he was on for us, including that undefeated 2019 team, where he did have a voice, but it wasn't like a leadership voice. So it was good to see that he kind of took it on himself to join guys like Miles Norville and a few of the older veterans to just kind of try to get this thing right for that team. Big first half highlight for me was us finding out that Mike Hutton, our guest tonight, can throw the ball a country mile. His long toss from about 35 yards out, which was deployed multiple times, which we hadn't seen yet. Another first on our last night. It found the foot of Arthur Parents on his first long or second long toss of the game, and got the ever so popular throw-in assist, which we haven't seen before. So that was an interesting thing, and a little bit of a contributor to why he was selected MVP. But there was more. So when things got back after the break, they were locked at 2-2 and the Turtles then kind of really had no answer for the talent and the cohesion that the one-timers have built over the previous weeks. Seeing the one-timers score 3 second half goals by Matt Gibbons, Mike Hutton, who set up another one, and then the final goal from Arthur. And then the only way to match that for the Turtles was a lone goal by Cole Schwartz. So with that, Nate, they were crowned the first annual Ben Wexler Brotherhood Cup champions. And the man, the myth, the legend, Sexy Wexy was on hand to present the trophy to the squad. And then they literally popped champagne bottles and uncorked for a celebration, which was so much Minneapolis City over the top. It was awesome. So hats off to team captain Jonah Garcia, Matt Gibbons, Mike Hutton, Will Kidd, Arthur Parents, Charlie Adams, Josue Batule, Ethan Anderson, Samuel Ruiz Plaza, Luke Lindsay, trialist Colton Prater, and Scotty Heinen, and of course goalkeeper Devin Thompson for a well-played cup. And also, like you said, a big shout out to our guest this evening, Mike Hutton, not Nick Hutton, for those of you who don't know that they are twins, on winning the Finals MVP, and ultimately, which we'll have to find out from him when we speak to him, falling for a joke by his team that they played on him, to telling him that they're all wearing suits to dress up classy for the final, and he was the only one who either fell for the joke or the joke was on him, and he showed up in a full suit. But apparently that's how you score 2 goals or have 2 big assists and score the game winner to bring home the title.
Yeah, you got to have confidence on and off the pitch, John. Confidence enough to be the only one to show up for your game wearing a full suit.
Yeah, look good, feel good, do good.
Well, let's get to the season awards, or the tournament awards, if you will. Like you said, final movement in the Golden Boot race led to Justin Oliver clinching it with 14 goals on the tournament, just squeaking past and into first place, right?
Yeah, Cole Schwartz had 13 and missed the semifinal, where he would have had the opportunity to score a goal. So Justin Oliver had one more game on him than Cole did, but also Justin Oliver scored half of his goals in that 7-goal outpouring that he had during the infamous loan game where his team had been down guys and were loaned his brother Tyler, who set up all 7 of those goals. If you weren't listening to the show that week, so I mean, yes, Justin, congratulations. Absolutely deserved it. You know, you're a true goal scorer, and especially in this format, it speaks volumes to your skill sets. But I believe Cole kind of won it fair and square.
Yeah.
But hey,
I mean, you got to show up, right? But also, like, who hasn't seen one huge performance put someone over the top? I mean, that happens, right? You get a big performance. You pad the stats with a weak opponent or whatever, and you do what you can to take the lead. So there he goes, Justin Oliver, the 14 goals, the Golden Boot winner. Onto the Stockton to Malone award, I guess you could call it, most assists. And I think we saw this one coming, John, because this guy has been setting goals up for weeks.
Yes.
Matt Gibbons with 14 assists on the season.
Yeah, I mean that's averaging more. It's averaging more than almost 2 assists per game, which in a 7-a-side format you might think is a little bit more reachable than in a full 11-a-side. But regardless, even though the opportunities are probably there more in a 7-a-side, you still have to be able to execute pinpoint passes in a small space. So, I mean, it was really impressive. I mean, every week we're just seeing this guy light up the stat sheet with drop-in times and also contributing goals. I have the stats pulled up here. Let me dive into those. But he also scored some goals, and to the tune of 4. So I mean, that's a lot of points, Nate.
Yeah, absolutely. On to best defender, and this is a guy, John, you might want to talk a little bit about, because a lot of people might not be familiar with him. That's Wes Lawrence. Why was he the best defender, and who is this guy?
So Wes Lawrence.
most importantly,
who the hell is Wes Lawrence? So Wes Lawrence actually is a product of our parent club, Segment Soccer Club. So Wes came to us. He's a Georgia native, and he he was born in Georgia and he moved to Florida and then was part of the IMG Academy, where he played his youth soccer up until through high school, and then through a job change with his parents, they moved to Minnesota, and he was actually attending Virginia Military Institute and came to us before that point in time during the year. We have it every year, Nate, when our full season's happening, and then a player says like, "Hey, I'm moving to the area. Here's my info. Like, could I try out?" And you're like, "Sorry, but we're kind of full. But we have this Stegman's thing. You can go play with them. And then if you like that and you're willing to put the work in, then you can come to the trial process in the winter." So that's what Wes did. And I think he featured for like 3 different Stegman's clubs over the summer. So definitely committed to what we were offering. And then he made, MC 2 after the winter trial process. And now he's currently in between schools as he left Virginia Military Institute to leave that military life behind, and is looking to transfer. So if there are any Division I coaches out there who are listening to this that need a solid defender, Wes is definitely it. With a constant staple in the back line for the Dillionaires. In some instances, their only true defender, which we saw that was the downfall of someone like the Turtles. So to have him perform at such a high level when in some weeks he was the only true defender on the team, scored 4 goals and 2 assists from the back line. So some decent offensive output as well. Wow. And this is an all-around great guy. Also, probably gets the award for bringing the most side pieces to the matches with the social distancing fan watching experience.
Oh, well, I mean, he was a cadet for so long. Now he's free of the military life. He's got to
just sowing those wild oats.
Onto our top goalkeeper, and this is a guy we had the pleasure of having on a couple weeks ago. Mitch Wolf gets top goalkeeper. Makes total sense from when you look at the stat line.
Oh, 100%. Mitch was was it week 5 or week 6 MVP? Who cares? He was a weekly MVP. Mitch came to us. If you listen to the interview of those 2 or 3 shows ago, Mitch came to us through my high school coaching that I help out with a program in our area where I live. And Mitch is the goalkeeper coach, and I've kind of been on him for a couple years to give us a shot. And this was the first time where he was actually able to make it work with work commitments. And he was also one of the former kind of squad depth goalkeepers for training purposes with Minnesota United for the past 2 years. So obviously a good reason not to be able to join us because he was training every day with a professional soccer team, the professional soccer team in our area. But now he was able to do it. And you can kind of tell from when you watch him play, you're like, Yep, that guy gets his position. Like he's everything the part. He featured in 7 games out of the 8 weeks that we had, so he only missed 1 week. He had compiled 80 saves and only 24 goals against, and had the only goalkeeper assist of the entire tournament.
Oh wow!
So I believe that his that was the same week where he recorded a week high 17 assists to secure the number 1 seed for the Billionaires into the tournament.
Way to go! And I think this is kind of where it gets interesting, because there are so many newcomers to the 77 tournament. I don't think you're going to be able to keep tabs on all of them. I certainly can't. But this one definitely stood out, and it's because of his work, his quiet work between the sticks. Devin Thompson gets the Best Newcomer Award.
Yeah, so Devin came to us through the open trial process, and then was quickly moved into the trial, the main trial process over the winter. Currently, Devin is in his second year at Anoka Ramsey Community College, where he plays soccer on the team there. But he was our Week 5 MVP, which started the string. It broke the streak of field players winning MVP and started a run of 3 straight weeks where we saw him, Mitch, and then Matt Elder win the weekly honor. But all over the place when it came to being in the goal, really kept his team in games. When you talk about a volume of opportunities that he saw, not as many as you would have seen from Mitch. He did play in all 8 games, recording 60 saves and 29 goals against. So good goals against average, much like Mitch, but not as many saves, because I don't think he needed to actually be put into action as much. Sure. But when he did, he absolutely performed. And super happy to have Devin, in the mix. He was selected to play on MC2 with Wes, we just mentioned. But happy to have him, because as you know, like, quality goalkeepers don't grow on trees in soccer.
That's for sure. That is for sure. So that's nice to have some depth at the position too, to have discovered that through this process. That's awesome. On to the top young player. And this is, you can show up week in and week out and be impressed with this kid and wonder, like, who is he and where did he come from? Because he held his own on on really quick turf, in really quick games against really big guys. And that is Eli Lloyd, our top young player of the tournament.
Yeah, so if you were following along with the show, we interviewed Eli after week 2 and just kind of got his take, because he was one of the group of players that came to us from Minnesota United once the DA left, and was really looking for that high level experience that he could be part of, and he found us, and he had nothing but great things to say about what we're providing for youth players, and specifically in how the model is great for players of his age range, which is what we're this pilot program is going to be serving in full force with the Futures program. So a great player to have in. I mean, like you said, just quickly closing the gap on being one of the best players at his age group, and then being able to level up against grown ass men. But I found out that, he traditionally was more of an attacking player in his past, but has recently moved back to the outside defender role. And he very much so was that attacking outside defender. I would liken him a lot to a guy like Zuhair, where from a body type perspective, kind of short, super quick, has that offensive mindset, but when you can deploy them as a good defender as well out of the back, it's a complete game changer. So he ended up lodging 3 assists on the in the cup, and really just a great kid, all in all. Like, really knows what he wants to do in the game of soccer, and is really looking just for those opportunities to get exposure and to better himself as a player. So we're really happy to have him, and hope that he sticks with us for at least another year. Yeah.
And finally, Cup MVP. This is a big one, John. It's someone all around best player of the entire tournament. And you kind of had your pick of the litter here, right? You had guys with 14 goals, guys with 14 assists, but the pick for guys with tons and tons of saves, right? The pick here is someone that was kind of the best all-around player. He can put it all together on any given night, and that is our former guest and really awesome guy, unless you're playing against him, Mito Yusuf.
Yep, one of the leaders of the Bastard Boys on our team. No, Mito's a great guy, like you mentioned, and very much so has that switch that he turns on as soon as he crosses over to the touchline and into any sort of soccer experience. Just battled week in and week out. We had him on the show after week 3 where he was voted the MVP. Finished the season with 9 goals and 9 assists, which was keeping him in the top half of the category for both Golden Boot and the Stockton to Malone Award. An A+ chirp game when it came to the WhatsApp group, like after every week, just either talking shit about why they lost or talking shit about how they won. It was great. But I mean, all in all, he is the perfect small-sided player. And if you're out there and you're in the professional indoor or futsal world and you're looking for a guy that is absolutely tailor-made for small attacking experiences in small spaces, tight spaces, Mito is the guy. Typically an outside attacker in full 11-a-side soccer, but in 7-a-side, he figured out how to contribute to a team on both sides of the ball without truly having a fixed position. I mean, Sometimes he would deploy out on the left, then he'd be up top, then he'd be dropping back, then he'd be out to the right. He was constantly all over the field and really just hunting wherever the ball was within a certain closeness to the goal, which is why he ended up with 9 goals and 9 assists. So congratulations to you, Midu. Well-deserved honor.
Great work. Well, John, that's it for the season, and that is it for our award winners, except for our Pick'em winners. And this one, well, I mean, let's just say it didn't go as planned for most of our Pick'em players. As it happened, you won our own contest.
Suck it.
You and your Uncle Business Ballers finishing first with 62 points on the backs of 2 incredibly lucky weeks. So even though we likely knew going into this week that you pretty much had this thing on lock, it's still bittersweet for most of us. So congrats.
Thank you. I'd like to thank the little people in my life who helped me figure out how to gamble at an early age.
Second place, as in most things in life, goes to me, Nate Morales. And man, again, we look super sketchy winning our own competition, number 1 and number 2. But when you think about it, we've got all the information. We're there. You're there week in and week out. I'm there occasionally, and we talk about these games quite a bit. So 42 points for me. 1 super lucky week really put me over the top, and that was it. Otherwise, I would have been down there with the rest of you guys. But third place goes to Colin O'Donnell. Replacements for a season, 40 points. Probably rightfully should have gotten second place. Like I said, except for my 1 lucky week, Colin had a little bit more of a consistent pick'em tournament. So congrats, Colin. You get nothing. No winner. Nobody wins anything since, John, you won the top prize. You won the 2021 membership and the chance to come on the pod. We really had to pivot, but you had kind of planned for this and almost probably worked harder to win the title because of your plan, didn't you?
Yeah, absolutely not a total slime ball. And so for all the people out there who think I cheated, screw you, because I didn't. And if I were to have cheated, which I, again, am saying I did not, I am now in a position to do something great. So yes, you're right. We did pivot. Since I'm not eligible to pick up our prize, we have decided to auction off to the highest bidder the 2021 membership over on our Twitter channel. The starting bid is $65, which is the current going price for the early bird special for our 2021 season membership. And you have 30 days as of tomorrow to get your bids in. So we'll continue every couple of days putting that link out. You can do the auction all online. You don't have to pay anything to bid unless you are the lucky winner. So all proceeds from this auction will be going to the Minneapolis City SC Futures Scholarship Fund. So get out there, get some cool shit, people, and help a kid play the beautiful game. And as far as how we handled coming on the show, thought of a couple different ways we could do this. One of them was obviously like, do we have Colin on? But then technically he didn't win. So we basically did is we took every person's name and put it in a hat who had played at least signed up and played at least 1 week of the Pick'em League. We had some people who signed up and did jack all and didn't participate in it.
Well.
So yeah, so you didn't get a chance to win the prize, whatever. So what we did was we put all of them in a hat and we picked one person out, and we're pleased to say that joining us in the next couple of weeks will be city board representative, citizens card carrying member, and general all-around great guy, Paul Schmakel. Paul will be reaching out to you soon with some details, and we'll lock in a date so that you can come join us.
Yes. Congrats to you, Paul, and congrats to you, John. Please go ahead and bid on this. It'd be very cool to give a little extra to the club and to support the Futures program.
Yes, and I think, I mean, if I didn't have a horrible voice, I would definitely close this out with singing End of the Road by Boyz II Men.
Thank you for not doing
that. No problem.
As is customary in our coverage of the Wexler Cup, tonight we honor last week's MVP by giving him his time in the sun. Welcome to the show for the first time, Mike Hutton, a.k.a. Mick Hutton. Mike, your performance earned your team the cup and earned you the MVP. How are you feeling tonight?
Hey, you guys. I'm doing really well. Thanks for having me on your show.
Nice. City fans are definitely familiar with your brother, Nick, but not his twin brother, Mike. And I'll say that your nickname, or even if it's not real, Mick, like I've got a cousin whose dad is named Mike, and he's Mike Jr. He goes by Mick. He's like actually Mike the Third, and he goes by Mick. So it's like, it made total sense to me. I'm like, oh yeah, that makes sense. one Nick and one Mick, and they thought they were funny. But you are Mike Hutton. People know probably less about you. Talk a little bit about your story growing up into soccer, where your paths diverged from your twin brother.
Yeah, sure. So you guys are familiar with Nick and probably his background, so I won't dive too deep into it. But Minnesota kid that grew up playing for the local clubs down in Apple Valley United, and then as we got a little older, I played for Bangu, which you turned into MTA or Minnesota Thunder Academy, and then from there I went on to college at University of St. Thomas. And I played there under Coach Mackey. So that was St. Thomas before the Lowry program that they have going on now. But a lot of fun there, and just started up with training some city with the guys this year.
So if my laser focused memory serves me correctly, you might be the one and only in the history of the club, but you chose to join the military after your successful stint at St. Thomas. Not a ton of players can say that they've had that kind of experience. Tell us a little bit more about that and what your military focus was.
Sure. So I actually chose the military out of high school. That's kind of what led me to St. Thomas, was being able to do the ROTC program and play sports at the same time. So I did make that choice out of high school when I was able to be an officer. So for anybody who's not super familiar with the military, I won't go too deep into it, but I did an officer program. And so what that meant was when I finished college, I finished with my degree, and also a commission into the United States Marine Corps. From there, you basically go out to Virginia and you compete for what job you want to get into. And I wanted to get infantry, and fortunately was able to get into that. I went out to North Carolina for.
You just straight up chose the infantry, like right out of the gate?
Yep. So there's 23 different MOSs or specialties, and
wow.
And so infantry is kind of the cool job. If you're in it, it's kind of the job that you want to go out and do. It's better than being in logistics or in artillery or
janitorial.
Right. So we did 2 deployments out of there and really enjoyed that. And I can go to more detail, but that's kind of the highlights of it.
So, as an active duty Marine, especially one who served in the infantry, you were probably not much of a slouch in the gym. Now that you're done and when you came out of the service, what physical adjustments have you had to make to get back into soccer shape?
Yeah, really, really big ones. I don't know if I would say it because I was in the gym or not. I think it's because of the lack of training and kind of like how quick you lose your quick twitch or your ability to kind of catch yourself as you cut, or your quickness in your feet. So I'd say one thing is, like, for sure, injury prevention. As you gain a little bit of size and a little bit of bulk, you lose a little bit of that flexibility in your legs. And man, I feel like every time you look at some of the older guys, you're always kind of trying to stretch out a little bit harder and try to prep your body a little bit more. So I don't know. I feel like sometimes I'm not as light on my feet as I maybe once was, and then just getting a touch on the ball is quite a bit more important now to warm up a bit and get that feeling back.
So we had my father on our show quite a few episodes ago. He is a retired lieutenant colonel in the Army, and he spoke about how during his time served when he was stationed in Europe, there was military soccer happening where each kind of country that had active military in the continent would put teams together and play each other. Was there anything like that when you were serving?
There was. It's a little bit different depending on the service you're in and kind of what billets you hold.
Just smacking the Navy around.
Yeah. So it's actually pretty frowned upon to kind of do that kind of stuff, so like if I were to go join like a running team or a soccer team or whatever, I'd probably get quite a bit of crap from my peers or superiors who are like, you didn't join the Marine Corps to go play soccer, you joined to learn to do all these other skills. And so it's not something that they would really look too proud on.
It was funny because my dad mentioned that, like, so he ran the U.S. team, and he was like saying that they're playing against the British military, and he looks across the field and there's like 3 members of the '66 World Cup team that are playing against him. Yeah, and he's like, "Well, we're losing today."
That's completely insane.
Yeah.
It might be different though, considering like the types of, like you said, the types of billets that you're given, right? Like if you're stationed at a base and if you have definitely more of a desk job, or if you're gonna kind of be there for longer, like it might be kind of the thing that to just kind of keep base life not boring. There's more organized social activities, but like if you're on kind of like a really active, like potentially dangerous assignment, like it's probably frowned upon to be fucking around so much. But was there kind of a balance that you could strike, Mike, or was it more like
you hit it right on the head? I mean, so I had a couple of peers that went on from our first duty stations or billets, to one went on to go be on the Marine Corps wrestling team, another one on to be a Golden Glove boxer, and those dudes were pretty rad. But there's definitely a time and place for it. As a young lieutenant in the Marine Corps, that is not the time and place for it.
not the time to make your own rules.
Yeah.
So you mentioned that you were on St. Thomas, before your stint in the Marine Corps. Afterwards, how much organized soccer did you get a chance to really play before hooking up with Minneapolis City? I know you maybe because of your brother were able to join on to Segments and dip your toe into the water that way. But was there anything else that you were able to compete in, especially on a 7v7 level?
Not really. A little bit. So we played in the Augsburg League. There's a bunch of guys that are on our Augsburg squad. Excuse me. And so I'd play a few times out there. I was home for I don't know 8 to 10 months or so before that, and so I think I probably played 1 or 2 Stegman's games, but not too much. It was kind of a fun way to jump back into it with City, and certainly a surprise and a shock with the amazing amount of talent you guys have in the club.
Yeah, I mean, when you jumped in, like, what's the biggest challenge that you feel like you faced in these 7v7 games?
I would say the skill on the ball. and just like how quick these guys are, both with their decisions and with their touch. I'd say that's definitely been the toughest thing. I'd say that playing 11s has been a little bit easier, and like playing with a little bit more space in front of me allows me a little bit more time to catch a ball. And if I mistouch it or anything, I maybe have 2 seconds, to do it. Whereas as we go smaller in 7v7 or even smaller than that in our rondos or smaller drills, that's where it's like, just insane to watch some of these guys, and if I were to list any of them, like Jonah and Sam Maurice Plaza and Max Diegwertz and all those guys are like so incredible in small spaces that even the high schoolers like are coming in. And if you look at the way that tactics are taught today and the way that players like kind of look at the game is so much different than when I was playing even back in 2011.
Yeah. So let's look forward to a potential next season, and I want you to picture yourself on an opposing team. Have you ever had to line up with against a team that had one set of twins, much less 2 sets of twins?
No.
Like if the Olivers and the Huttons hit the pitch at the same time for Minneapolis City, how badly would you fuck up another team?
I mean, those guys are really talented finishers and really good players. So I think, to answer your question, I don't think I've ever played against a team with 2 sets of twins. And even just the single set, I can remember a couple of teams that would wipe us out from Ohio North whenever we'd go to regionals. But other than that, I don't remember any dominant sets of twins anywhere. So I think seeing the Olivers and then getting Nick out there would be really a good tandem.
You got then you definitely have the hive mind going.
Yeah.
Nobody would be able to mess with you. Like you have 4 people with 2 brains.
Just operating on a totally different frequency than everyone else.
4 attackers with 2 brains. I should ask you though, so positionally, how do you differ from your brother at all?
So we played different positions growing up. So he's not naturally a striker. He's kind of like jumped into that role at City. So he'd never really been a striker before, and so.
Well, it's worked out.
Yeah, no, he's been really talented and good. I think he's playing better soccer than he's ever played before, and that's not a knock. It's just he's playing great. But I think, I'd say with like back to goal, I'd say it was something that I used to have an edge on him. When I catch a ball and play back into the center, things like that. I don't have too many edges on Nick anymore. I mean, he's been playing a lot and playing really well. But differences. I think I'm a bit stronger. I think I go up in the air a bit stronger than he does. And then, I mean, there's a million things he's doing a little better than I am. But, differences. I don't know. We play pretty.
So you're more of a target man, Nick more of the
I think
speedster.
So. Yeah, that's a perfect way to put it.
All right.
So we talked a little bit briefly about it before we hit the record button, but explain to us wearing a suit to the final match. So some people are saying it was a joke played on you. Some are saying that it's just the other guys like not knowing if it was a joke or not. And some are saying it's like the Stegman Soccer Club anniversary party where you just come to momentous occasions in a suit and tie. So can you clear up the rumor?
Yeah. So the 77 squad, they sent out a text that morning saying, "Hey, we're wearing suits to the game tonight. Make sure you guys wear a suit." And then people were kind of clowning around on there a little bit, and they were like, "Hey, we're doing this, right?" And it was kind of between that and one other thing, excuse me. And they ended up deciding on suits, and so I threw on a coat and a tie and shirt and got there, and nobody else was wearing it. And so they probably had a side chat going to pull one on me, but they deny it to this day. But even if they were telling the truth, I don't think I'd believe them.
Well, hey, we definitely very much so on this show believe that if you look good, you feel good, and you do good, and you ended up contributing with a huge assist in the first half off of a throw-in, which was our first throw-in assist of the competition. But you also notch another assist and then score the game winner ultimately. So wear the suit, man. Wherever you go, wear a suit.
Dress for
No,
success.
City's definitely got that going, especially with the uniforms. Everybody always talks about those. The branding and the uniforms is definitely City positive or brand.
So what I'm hearing is we need to come out with some sort of crested sport coat.
Yeah, like we had a guy in high school that wore, that like T-shirt from Spencer's that looked like a tuxedo. Yeah. He wore that to prom. So like we should just do that.
I mean, we could.
Like a kit like that.
I think you'd have some folks on the blazer with the crest on. I think a lot of people would get that, but I don't know what kind of budget the club has either.
I mean, we're clearly swimming in cash, so we can do anything we want. We like to end, the serious portion of our interviews when we have guys on, and specifically our fall guests, with kind of this question. So, if you can think back to young Mike Hutton as you're going through, the process of figuring out how to, playing after high school. What do you think that the model that we deployed in the sevens would have benefited you as a younger player, 16 through 20, as this supplemental model with a ultra competitive, small-sided component that we put out there that's going to be our futures model? How do you think that would have benefited you or benefits younger players?
Yeah, good question. So I think, man, if I were to layer it into one or two bullet points, I'd say the first one is being able to play against people with such different competitive advantages. So you're playing against people with very different abilities, whether it's somebody that's just a bull and a whole bunch of power and speed like Matt Giddens, just trying to play against him in a game, or a dog like Midu, or maybe you're playing against somebody's size like Josue, or just the strength of Charlie Adams. I would say that you're kind of getting hit with different people's advantages physically, but then also you're coming against some of the dudes that have played at really, really high levels. Like, I put Ian Smith and Max Stegwertz and San Luis Plaza kind of in that mix, that play such a clean brand of soccer that it's just so much tougher to play against, and likely some of the players they're playing against at their lower levels. So one, I'd say, those competitive advantages that certain players bring to the pitch, and then two, just like the high level of soccer that some of those other guys are like completely playing at all the time.
Sure. Well, Mike, I'm going to tell you, we have gotten to the part of the show that usually throws the guests for a loop. You guys think that you're good. You always think that you've got a leg up here, and you never do. It's time for Ask John Anything. We've had tons of games here over 4 years. This is our best game so far. You can ask John 2 questions about anything, literally anything about his life. That could be soccer related. It could be something like which one of his kids he loves more. Like, these are the chain is off, man. Anything you ever wanted to embarrass John about, this is the opportunity. And here's the thing: if he answers both of them, the game is over. But if he pleads the fifth on any of your questions, he has to answer your next one truthfully. And I'll tell you, he's got some sort of a genetic predisposition to honesty. So you're just not. So it's going to be hard to find a question that he needs to lie about.
I'm sure people have probably gone through players or gone through things. What is your least favorite characteristic about MVB, and why?
Least favorite characteristic about Matt. For those of you who MVB is head coach Matt Van Benscoten. Let's see here. I'm gonna answer the question. I have to just find something to pinpoint, because he's a very likable guy.
He is.
Right?
It's an impossible question.
No question's impossible, Mike. It's all how you want to answer it. I would say that one of the characteristics that Matt has, it kind of goes against just how I'm made up as a soccer coach. So I'm not talking about as a peer in our club. I'm talking about coach to coach. There are times where I feel that Matt will potentially give a player a little bit longer of a leash than I would have. And that's not a knock on a coach. It's just not what I do. Like when I'm coaching, I don't give guys that third opportunity to clean something up before they get the hook. I'm very quick to the trigger because that's how all the coaches I played for were. And in some instances, I may be frustrated with that, but it's the right decision. And I might have taken a guy out too early, and Matt gave a guy that chance that he needed, and that player performs. So it's not necessarily a negative. It's negative to me because I can't stand it when I watch a guy make a couple mistakes, and I clearly know that it could have been changed. So I think that would be the only negative thing I can think about that Matt and I
That
don't agree
is
on.
a great answer. You're right. It's not a negative. I guess it's maybe a least favorite thing, but you're right. It's not a negative at all. I think I thought it was an impossible question, and you answered it brilliantly.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate it. I've had some practice on this
I bet.
segment.
Yeah. So do I ask one more or no? I think that's it, right?
You get one more.
You get one
See
more,
if you can stump him. Or potentially you get two more if I can't answer this one.
Okay. What's your least favorite city kit?
Least favorite city kit was probably the inaugural season white jersey, which was just the white shirt with the black sleeves. Your traditional home jersey, right? Everyone's got to have a white jersey. But when you go to the away the first year, it was the same design but pink with black sleeves. And I thought the simplicity of that one is super sharp. It's the one I bought that year. And I just feel that like we were introducing pink into the lower league soccer world as a primary color for jerseys that has seemed to caught on. And a lot of people are doing that. Like a lot of things we do, we're having some flattering folks that are doing a lot of the same things. But I think that you can't really compare any of our other jerseys to that white one in a positive or in a negative light, because you had then the Lumberjack kit, then you had the Sabo Bridge white jersey, then you have the Lightning Bolt kit, you have the Crow Wing from a white perspective, City of Lakes, the throwback jerseys. I mean, they're all good, but that was probably the worst.
Yeah, the white one's kind of a snooze fest.
I'm trying to think if there's anything else we've worn that. I mean, even if you look at our Stegman's jerseys, like those are all better than that one.
That's true, but that one was cheap, I bet.
No, I mean, like from a cost perspective.
Yeah, like
no,
just get a white and black jersey.
No, it was the same cost as the pink. So, I mean, we just kept it too simple because we didn't know how long we'd be around for.
Yeah.
Jokes on everybody else.
Well, there you go, Mike. That was those are your Ask John Anything questions. I hope you got the answers you were looking for. We really appreciate you being here, man. Best of luck as we enter into this dark season of soccer, and hope you can stay fit and stick around. And we hope to talk to you next.
Man. Shout out to the rest of the guys. I mean, I just got on the end of a couple of shots there in the 77s. The rest of those guys, worked their butts off, and it was super fun to be a part of it. So shout out to the rest of those dudes.
That is all for this week's show, folks. Thanks, as always, to our sponsor, Summit Brewing Company. John, I grabbed the last 12er of Oktoberfest at the liquor store, and that means it's almost porter season. Sometimes a roasty, dark beer is just that on-ramp that I need to Whiskey Town. I'll tell you what. So I'm looking forward to that. Get to the stores today and fill your basket with some delicious bottled beverages. Summit, a more meaningful brew since 1986.
Wait, hold on. What did you say? It was the
on-ramp to Whiskey
that's
Town?
Perfect. I need a t-shirt that says that. I mean,
hey man, it's like I do this for a living.
Jeez, that was pure written gold right there, Nate. But also the Dark Infusion Porter is in the I think it's the bonfire box this year. So that one's not sold in anything but in the specialty packs. So if it's almost porter season, you might want to pick one of those up and then get on the bus to Whiskeyville or whatever you just said.
However you want to get there, you got. If giving back to the community means a lot to you, it is time to give to the club that gives back. Minneapolis City is a 501c3 that provides safe, reliable, and fun environments for young people to play the beautiful game. We've also got our newly formed Futures Program Scholarship Fund to give to. So consider a tax-deductible donation to a true city-focused organization.
Bid on the membership soon, folks.
Yep. Not a lot of shows left before the end of the year. Usually, John and I come up to our end of the year holiday break, if you will. So if you have anything you want us to cover to round out this season of the People's Pitch, you can send us on a quest or whatever. You just send us mail. It's easy. Hit us up on Twitter. We're at the People's Pitch, or email us mcscpodcast@gmail.com. And you can call. Maybe we'll do a call-in show in a couple weeks. If calling in is more your speed, we want to hear that voice live on the show. Hit us up. The show hotline is 612-460-5683. Put it in your phone right now. 612-460-5683. All questions, comments, and concerns are welcome. And finally, as always, you can tweet at the club itself at MPLSCitySC on the Twitter machine. Hey, that first episode of Foot City is in the books. Check it out. Check it out at twitch.tv/MPLSCitySC and get on the ground floor of Ultimate Team Squad Building 101 with myself, with Jonah Garcia and Max Steekwert, 2 City players and 2 amazing FIFA players. The next episode is going to stream Thursday, 10/22, when we catch them on the back end of their first weekend league appearance. And you can check out how garbage my squad is looking compared to theirs after playing. It's definitely like by the end of the show, it's going to be the achievement gap will be clear. That's for sure. That does it for this week. I am Nate. That was Mike Hutton, and of course, thank you so much to John, my co-host of all time. We will catch you fine people next week as we look towards the off season, if you were, and we're going to get ready for futures action.
And you got hoofed.
Poster burning maple weeds, cradle major keys. Thinking back, I've been major since the minor league. So supreme, too much sauce off my olive NMDs. I could staple steez, bend the goat so I get the cheese. Never fall, rake them leaves and make sure every moment gets seized. And everything I see is making